Welcome everybody this afternoon to the City Commission meeting. Glad to see everybody here. It's a full house, looks like. Just to let you know, we have one commissioner, David Trujillo, who's on vacation. He's out of town. And Commissioner Gandy is on his way. He'll be here shortly. So I'll call this meeting to order. Roll call. Bill.
Mayor Sanchez.
Here.
Mayor Zucker.
Here.
Mayor Cole.
Here. All right. The invocation, Commissioner Butcher, if you would, please.
Could all bow your heads, please. Our Heavenly Father, Lord, we want to thank you, Lord, for letting us all wake up and see another day, Lord. And Lord, we just bless all and each and every one of our families and bless those troops that protect us each and every day. Lord, bless this city for taking care of us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right. I'll accept the motion for the approval of the agenda as stated.
make that motion. I'll second that.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I'll entertain a motion for consideration of the regular meeting minutes of May the 23rd, 2016.
I make that motion and I'll second that.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Going on to the commissioners and staff report. Commissioner Funches, do you have anything for the audience? No? Just a hello? All right, very good. Commissioner Butcher.
Yes, I would. I would just like to say to the city staff and, the employees, the parks and stuff, they're looking good out there, and looking forward to playing on the equipment as a big kid. Thank y'all for doing a good job.
And thank you, Commissioner. I just have a couple of items I'd like to bring forth in this meeting. One of them is the Lovington Chamber app, the guide to everything. I read the article in the newspaper, and I think that's fantastic. As a matter of fact, I downloaded it myself, and I think it looks great. Raylene, would you mind coming up and speaking on that?
Thank you. That's something we've been working on the past few months, and I feel like it's a great movement for our businesses and our community. It's a central location for our community for events, businesses. It's mapping, it's a directory, it's a little bit of everything. I'm really excited about it. Is there any questions you have about it? Gosh, I'm kind of stumped.
How successful do you see it up to this point? I know you've just been on board for just a little bit, but
we've had it for a few weeks, and we've already had, even since that went out, they interviewed me on Thursday, and we had 4,000 hits on it, with almost 450 downloads. So that's really good. And then today, when I looked, we had almost 5,500 hits and almost over 500 downloads. So I felt like that was pretty good for over the weekend when that went out. Like I said, with that being the full directory of that, if you'll notice when you look at the businesses, the ones with the pictures on them are chamber members. That's the benefit of being a chamber member. So basically, the starting for a chamber membership as a business, not nonprofit or churches or anything of that statute, a business starts at $175 a year. That's less than $1,750 a month. So just think of it that way. So, yes, they're under different categories. They're all listed under different things. There's all look at Reed Insurance. That's a good example. They have commercials on there. First Church of the Nazarene has a commercial on there. The Burger Builders has their menu posted on there. So each business is able to utilize it to their advantage, and they're able to log in and post pictures, events, things of that nature. So it's however much they want to utilize it.
Would you walk us through the download process? I mean, I was able to do it, so anybody can do it.
Boy, it's tough. If you've ever downloaded anything on your phone, you go to your app store, you search Lovington, and just look for the Sun logo. Install.
It is
The
installed.
end.
It is
The end.
All right, very good.
So, and I'm trying to keep it fresh so that everybody is engaged consistently. Right now, if you'll know, last week was Angry Birds because that's what was showing at the theater. Just wanted to keep something new and fresh. This week is going to be Smoking on the Plaza because that's the big event coming up. Next week, maybe Splash Pad, maybe something else, maybe Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, who knows? So, just trying to keep it fresh and updated.
We appreciate that. very
No
much.
problem.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. The other item I had was the investigation that has been ongoing by the Lovington Police Department regarding the fatal accident we had east of town a few weeks back. I'm glad to say that it's wrapped up and we have charges that have been brought forth. Chief Rodriguez, would you mind addressing that anymore if you can?
It just took longer than anticipated. There's a lot of mechanical things that went into it that we had to address before we presented to the district attorney's office. So that's what the lag was on that.
Okay. But you made your presentation, turned over to the DA. They approved the charges to be filed, and so we're going forward with that.
Correct.
I'd like to publicly thank the police department, their detectives, Detective Miranda, the chief on down, of course, everybody that's involved, because I know it's a very involved process. You got to do it right. You can't hurry up with that. So I appreciate those efforts. Okay. Gary, going on staff reports.
Your mayor and commission, you really don't have anything to report. I guess the one item of note that you most likely received an email on is that our interim budget has been approved by the Department of Finance. That gives us a base to start on for our final budget.
Very good. Thank you. All right, very good. So any questions, Commissioners?
No.
Okay. Ms. Bell?
No.
All right. Anna? Carol Ann? All right. Chief, back to you.
No, sir.
All right. Chief?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. James?
Mayor Commissioners, if we could go ahead and have David Shaw do his presentation. I've got several items, and I know he has another meeting he needs to.
Sure, absolutely. No problem.
Shaw.
This is regarding the Health and Wellness Center, correct?
That's correct. Mayor and Commissioners, thank you. My purpose tonight is just to give you a quick update of our progress on the project. As you know, earlier, late winter, we met, presented the idea to the commissioners, and you agreed to move forward with an endorsement of the project. We've had representatives from the school district and the city attend some research that we did. We went to several sites and looked at other facilities and came up with some ideas that we thought we could right size, if you will, for something here in Lovington. So what I have for you tonight is we're getting real close to the final draft of the drawings that will be submitted to go out for RFP for construction documents or for a contractor. We hope to break ground sometime in August or September on the project and complete the project in August of 2017. I believe it's on June 23rd. I may be off a day or two. We've invited all the members of the research committee to attend a meeting to look at various equipment that we can use to equip the fitness center in the facility. So let me just real quickly, if I could, go through the facility. The overall square footage of the facility is a little bit over 40,000 square feet. Our budget is $10.5 million. All of that cost is to be covered by the hospital district. So this is the ground floor, and to orient you, the main entrance, which is there at the bottom, where you see the stairwell, is on the south side of the building. So this is out on our 20 acres west of the main campus. So the employee parking lot would be due south of this drawing. As you enter into that space, one of the ideas that we picked up from Durango, Colorado, which had a really nice facility, is they actually had a free space in front of the facility. They said it was a great way to attract new members. So they had like a pool table, foosball, different things like that. So kids and parents would congregate in that area and play and take advantage of that free space, and it would draw their interest. So one of the things that we've done to draw their interest is right across from the free space is the climbing wall. It's a 2-story climbing wall. It's about 30 feet wide. We already have some staff on hand that are certified to oversee the climbing activity, so that'd be something unique to Lovington. That'll be located in that main hallway. Just north of that climbing wall is a flex area, so that space would be used probably for some type of cardiovascular activity, whether that be rowing machines, spin bikes, or something of that nature. Over to the left side of the drawing, you can see there at the bottom is a reception concession area. So we would be selling healthy type drinks, smoothies, different things like that, protein shakes. And that's the control point to go into the natatorium, where the competition size swimming pool is located. On the north end of the swimming pool, you'll see 3 diving boards. One of the things we picked up from Santa Fe is to take advantage of the space. Rather than having a separate diving pool, the diving boards actually retract. So while you're having the swimming competitions, you can retract the boards and have your swimming competitions, and then you can lower those boards and have the diving competition. All the support space is over there on the west side of the natatorium. On the north end, you'll see a pool courtyard. So whenever there's a major competition, maybe a district swim meet here, there's going to be a lot of families. It's an all-day event, so we'll have an area outside where the families can congregate, bring a snack lunch or picnic lunch. There's also a door going into the therapy pool area. So that area will be utilized for warm water aerobics. We think we'll have a lot of interest in that. It'll also be used by our physical therapy department for rehab. We'll also have probably 1 or 2 underwater treadmills to help people that have had knee surgery or leg injuries to recover in a semi-weightless environment. Also in the pool area, some of our ideas there, we actually will have, I know this sounds crazy, but we'll have a rope that'll be tied to one of the rafters in the top of the building, where kids can line up with a lifeguard supervising and swing out over the pool and dive into the pool. I remember doing that as a kid at a river, so there's no rivers around Lovington, so we'll also have some cabling that'll go across the pool where we can attach some buoys. And we saw this at another facility. You can bring out kayaks. We can teach kids how to utilize kayaks and navigate through obstacles in the pool. So the ideal would be in the summertime, we would partner with groups in the community to do summer programs for the kids. So kids could be bussed into the facility, and we could have water programs for them. And then we also have the multi-purpose gym I'll talk about here in a minute. We also have a separate men's and women's locker room, and then we also have a locker room for assistants. So those individuals that are handicapped and need assistance from the physical therapist to suit up, they'll have space as well. On the very north end in the center, you'll see a conference room. We're going to utilize that for education, so diabetes education, dietary training, cooking classes, different things like that. But also it'll double as a kind of a party room. So in the multi-purpose gym will be open to everybody. It'll be open. They'll have open hours, but then there'll be opportunities for groups in the community to rent it out. So for example, the church might want to rent it out for a lock-in, so they would have access to the multi-purpose gym, and then they would have the conference room where they could have food and things like that. So if you wanted to rent out the gym for your kids for a birthday party, you would have access to that as well. On the very north end, you see doors going out into another patio, which leads you out into the field that's behind there, and we have some phase 2 plans to possibly put 1, maybe 2 soccer pitches on either side of the building for the community to utilize as well. So let me take you up to the second floor. So there's 2 sets of elevators there at the bottom, and also stairwell that'll take you up to the 2nd floor. The other thing to keep in mind, unfortunately I don't have a frontal view of it, but there is it's all glass in the front, so at night when the building's lit up, you'll actually, as you drive up, be able to see the people climbing up the rock wall at night. Be an interesting view. So this is the 2nd story, and of course the natatorium, it's 2 stories, so there's nothing over the pool. But you'll notice right there where the multi-purpose room is, which would be a room that we could set up for kettlebells, aerobics, yoga classes, a variety of different things, dance classes. It's all glass. So from that room, you could look over into the pool during competitions and actually watch your kids competing in swim meets. The flex space, that's an area that we could use for like spin class, bringing some spin bikes. And at the very top, you see the open weight area. That would be for resistance training. We would have multi-purpose machines up there. So the other interesting feature is the lap, or the laps around the gym. So on the 2nd floor, you could actually walk or jog around the gym, and it's open down to the floor below. So while you're walking on a dusty day or a cold day in the winter, you can look down, you can see your kids playing basketball down in the multipurpose gym below you. And as you round the corner, you can see me climbing the rock wall on the other side. So I think, sometimes when you get out and you walk and you're jogging, it's nice to have something to kind of mix it up while you're doing that. And so there'll be a lot of different activities that are going on while you're walking and jogging around the facility. Oops. I'm not talking about weed ordinance. So this is an aerial view of the entire campus. And to orient you, this is the apartment complex right here. This is the Lovington Medical Clinic, the new inpatient wing that we just completed over there, and then the helicopter hangar there to the north. So that gives you an idea of the scope and size of the facility that we're proposing to build. And also, it gives you some idea if we did decide to put 1 or 2 soccer pitches out there, give you an idea of what that might look like. Again, the soccer fields, because we're trying to stay to a certain budget, that's probably a phase 2. Possibly by the end of the project, we'll be able to start that. I don't know that we'll necessarily do the 2nd pitch. It just kind of depends on what the board decides, if they want to keep that space for future healthcare needs and growth in that area. But and then we'll also be adding on to the employee parking lot for the fitness center. So you can see the 2 additional rows there. So to enter the facility, you would actually come up Main Street in between the apartments and the Lovington Medical Clinic and enter at the north end of the employee parking area. So during the day, while the employees are there will probably be about 60 or 70 parking spaces. But during the early morning, in the late evening, and weekends, when there would be high utilization of the fitness center, most of the employees are not there, and so they could take advantage of the employee parking spaces for overflow for swim meets and different things like that. So, Mayor, that concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions. I think the last remaining item that we have before we really move forward is the signatures on our contracts. I talked to Jim Templeman, who is preparing the contract. He's been talking to Patrick and also to the attorney representing the school district. And he's supposed to have a draft to us by the end of tomorrow. And so I would anticipate, hopefully by I think your June 27th meeting, we could have a contract in front of you by then. And also get one in front of the school district, hopefully by at least their July board meeting. And then once we get those signatures, then that will release us to start construction.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner.
Mr. Shaw, there's going to be a fee for anybody that wants to go and use the pool or use the exercise room. Is there a fee for all that?
Yes. So it probably, that's something that the committee, that the representatives that you have from the city and the school district will sit down and decide what would be the appropriate fee. What I quoted to you guys during the previous presentation was somewhere in the $40 to $45 range. But keep in mind that you'll have full access to the climbing wall, the pool, the therapy pool, the jogging track, the multipurpose gym, and all the fitness equipment. There will be discounted rates. So for example, and this is pretty typical in a fitness center, if people wanted to sign up for an entire year, there would be a discounted rate. I couldn't quote that to you today. We have a wellness program at the hospital district. We're looking at an opportunity for those businesses here in the community that participate in our wellness program, their employees would get a discount. So there's a few businesses in town that take advantage of that. So I think we're not at a point where we're ready to publish what the rate's going to be. I think I need to talk to all the partners. But I would suspect that the non-discounted rate would be somewhere in the $40 to $45 range.
I just want to thank you for the great work you're doing there at the hospital, you and your staff, and just give them our well pleased thing for doing such a wonderful job in your building, brought Lovington up. I think that's a showcase. This hospital is a showcase for this town and for the surrounding areas, I would say.
Well, thank you, and I'll pass it on to the staff, but I will tell you that I think our success has been centered around building relationships with all the communities and having all the community support. So it's a partnership.
It is a huge collaborative effort with, the schools and the county, the hospital, and us. So I'm excited about that, and I think it's a great plan. It's the icing on the cake, because we already have a great hospital out there. As we all know, we have people from all over come to Norley for their needs. So this is fantastic. I think it's great. Thank you again for your work. I reiterate Commissioner Sanchez's words as well.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, very good. Before we go to James, Patrick, did you have anything?
No, sir.
Okay, very good. Mr. Williams. Okay.
Mayor Commissioners, I did meet, I know that you were approached by a couple of gentlemen at the last meeting in regards to an event called Sean Fest. I have been meeting with them about that. That's not an event that would necessarily have to come back to the commission for approval. It is covered by policies, procedures, and some areas of our municipal code to address those. So we are working on coordinating with them for that event. Of course, Smoking on the Plaza is this weekend, so make sure you get out there on Friday and Saturday, enjoy some barbecue and some good entertainment that is being hosted by Lovington Main Street. In addition to that, we did go ahead and approve their beer garden permit, so they will be having that. We start mosquito spraying tonight. We'll be working on that this week, Monday through Thursday, weather permitting, from 7 to 11. It'll follow the published waste management route. However, Thursday and Friday will be combined. This is new, so we may not get all the Monday's route covered, but as soon as we get one complete spraying for the town, we're going to go ahead and do a second spraying, but we're also handling standing puddles of water to get on top of the mosquitoes. Of course, our splash pad. Splash pad it works. We're still making adjustments. Actually, we are doing some landscaping out there. I don't know if any of you made it out there since Saturday, but I would say, as of this morning, the sod installation, I would say, is about 75% complete.
Good.
We're still going to be putting in some artificial turf. I actually have a rendering of it, but everything on the east side actually is going to have sod. The sod will continue up around the blue shelter up to, we have an emergency call box. We'll have artificial turf. This is about a 15-foot area in between. Artificial turf underneath there, it'll all be leveled. They were actually working on that today. In addition to that, this will also be bordered by some concrete. We're going to have a sandy beach area full of placing. So that work will be done by July 1st. We sought quotes, and actually local Victor Tureen with Fast Cat Landscaping, they're actually doing the work for us. Which our official grand opening, we are going to have that on July 4th, immediately following the Lizard Race. It'll be about 4 o'clock. So we'll have our ribbon cutting. We'll also be serving Coke or root beer floats out there for people. So we want people to come out to the park and enjoy the splash pad. We did, the commercial street project is so far on schedule. The rain really kind of concerned me, but if you haven't driven by this afternoon, I believe we put our first lift of asphalt on there this morning. So that project is moving along. We did have to sign a change order. Whenever we first reviewed those plans, we found out that some of the culverts did not, except on the ends, have concrete, so we did have to sign a change order to add the concrete to those culverts so they don't wash out. Our youth center, we are doing I guess a second go at our survey that we did. We opened that survey up this morning at 8 o'clock. We're encouraging everybody who's 18 years of age or younger to respond to that survey. It's just finding out what the public would like to see down there, especially our youth. That's what it's targeted at. The survey will be open until 5 p.m. next Monday.
What happened on the first go around?
The first go around, we only had 44 responses, 10 of which were individuals 18 years of age or younger. So
Okay.
we really didn't have a good sampling.
Okay.
Find out on some of those programs. Also, starting Monday, our new hours will take effect. We're going to be open Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Of course, it'll be open to kids from 3 to 8 p.m. On Wednesday evenings, we'll be open from 6 to 8, but also we're going to be open on Saturdays. The Saturday hours will be from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. We're working on filling different activities for those. We have a lot of open use. We do have another program that's starting next week. It's called Teenscape. It's an art program. Dante Rios of Lovington is actually going to be teaching this program for kids. It'll be Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 3:30 to 5:30. It'll be no charge. So it's going to be teaching kids artistry and then also focusing on like graffiti art and the whole concept behind all of that. So we're going to try that program as well. And then of course CDBG, the Community Development Block Grant. Last week I know I had contacted a couple of y'all to find out if you would attend. We did make our presentation in Albuquerque. We were informed that on June 22nd they requested we come back. That's when they will be actually making those allocations. And they would like everybody who made a presentation to attend. We don't know if we received an allocation or not. This was actually $500,000 for Jefferson, Avenue H, and 2nd Street road work that we applied through the Community Development Block Grant. So if you would look at your calendars, I'm anticipating it would be 9 a.m. on that Wednesday, the 22nd. Let me know. We can make those arrangements, but if we do get an award, they want to take pictures of elected officials and I guess a big check.
That would be nice.
And that's all I have on my reports.
Okay. I almost forgot, and I want to thank the Lovington Fire Department for stepping up and taking over the lizard race. I'd like to thank John Graham. He did it for 38 years, I believe. And so I really want to, give a thanks to John Graham for doing it for so long. But what was it? The name? Oh yeah, the Great Lizardo will take over the lizard. I think you're stepping up, Chief, and your men as well. All right. I appreciate that very much. All right, very good. Anything else? Tim?
No, sir.
All right, very good. Welcome, Commissioner Scotty.
Apologize for being late.
No, no problem. We understand. We'll go on into action items. I'm sorry.
We have one more discussion item. So
Oh, do we? Okay. I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
Mayor and Commissioners, one of the things.
Oh, the weed ordinance. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Right.
One of the things that we have, obviously, with the rainfall and just the time of the year is we do have weed growth. And I know code enforcement has been out issuing warnings and citations when possible for that, but we also have some limitations, and it's just the way that our ordinances have been written. So visiting with code enforcement, we've been kind of looking at some suggestions, which of course if we adopted these suggestions, we'd have to adopt an ordinance, or commission would have to approve an ordinance in order to change the code. But right now, the way our current code reads is that weeds or grass has to be cut below 10 inches, which, you know, that's quite a bit, but until it hits 10 inches, there's really nothing we can do about it. In addition to that, areas maintained by the owner. Of course, these have been in code since, I believe, when it was first adopted, which, of course, it's the property line to the middle of the alley is what the owner's responsible for. The area between the property line and the curb, any curbs or sidewalks located on the property, and an area 10 feet outside the property line where there's no curb actually found. So we actually have weeds that are growing on the curb and also in the gutter. The curb and gutter is essentially the same item. And a lot of folks, I guess you would say it's a failure on our part to educate the public. That is actually their responsibility. Some folks have offered, you know, opinions that we'll just run the street sweeper down the curbs and that will eliminate the weeds, and it doesn't. Those brushes are not designed to do that. That was an option, but we would actually want to replace a lot of equipment. Also running blades or even a loader down there, that's not going to address the actual issue. It's a team effort, you know, aside from city employees, it's an effort between, it's a public-private partnership that we got to have in order to get on top of our weed problem. But once again, if we don't have at least 10 inches of growth, we can't provide a warning or a citation to the property owner. So part of the issue that we have, if you can see, you know, this is, for example, a sidewalk. Your property owner is responsible for maintaining that sidewalk. And that may not be a big deal, but it is actually obstructing clear and easy walking down that path, especially if you think about we have adopted the ADA transition plan, and a person who may have some type of mobility impairment, if they have to use a walker or even a wheelchair, that may actually prove to be a challenge for access to that neighborhood. In addition, when we look at more on the curbs, we have overgrowth into the street. That may, you know, yes, it's green, everybody loves green, but believe it or not, that wreaks havoc on our roads because it impedes drainage. Whenever you have even dirt in there, it does decrease the cubic feet per minute. Even though we do live in a very, very flat town, we need every little bit of help we can get water moving out of town. So some of the suggested changes that we had discussed was we need to include language that really specifies you need to keep the sidewalks clear of grass, weeds, or dirt, regardless of the height. We need to keep it clear so that we have those access issues addressed. In addition, specify that grass, weeds, and dirt, accumulation of debris in the curb and gutter area is not acceptable either. Just to make sure that we can, you know, let people know you've got to take care of this because of the, you know, wide range of implications for drainage. In addition, the current code, spazzing out, what we have is a lot of folks say, well, just go out and cite them. Our code sometimes gets in our way because our code actually requires that for non-compliance, we have to give the 10-day written warning. So I know, you know, give them a warning, go out after 10 days. I would say probably about 90% of the time, and 90% of the time, we get compliance and we don't have to issue that citation. After that 10 days, if they haven't taken care of the problem, you know, we can cite them, or if it's really severe, we can do an abatement, but we really don't have anything that says, well, that just looks bad, you deserve a violation or citation. But our code kind of inhibits our ability to actually do that. So one of the changes that we're looking at is, you know, for those really bad cases, because this is actually a health and safety issue, because of, you know, vermin. We also have mosquito breeding grounds. They just don't breed in water. Tall weeds, it allows moisture. You can have a mosquito problem or other pests breeding there. But for what we suggested was that for anything that exceeds 15 inches in height, you immediately can give that person a citation. And this also removes that doubt saying, well, so-and-so got a warning, but I'm getting a citation. This is very clear. Anybody can pick this up and read, well, okay, I need to keep my stuff under control. But we're not really looking for fines. Honestly, if somebody is issued a violation the majority of the time, the case gets dismissed because that violation causes that person to correct the problem. Because they're looking at now having to take time off of work to go see the judge, you know, aside from taking care of the problem. We just would want to see compliance. We also have a typo in there. Actually, the last sentence, it actually reads a citation of citation. It should be a citation of violation should be issued. But those are some of the recommended changes that we wanted to discuss with commission, also get any feedback from commission on anything they may like to see, and work with our community partners as well before we would even address this, bring this back to the commission. We essentially need some direction.
Commissioners? What do you guys
We'd
think?
really like to get back and might have some other ideas to throw in there with what you just brought up on, that we could bring up at the next meeting.
Anybody else?
I read what they had in the packet, and I thought that was more than sufficient. You know, I did have the 3-foot or 4-foot tall weeds in the back of my yard. I guess you're supposed to go back there. So they give you that friendly little pink note, so they reminded me I have that portion of property, and I appreciate that. But you know, it is a deal of, or it is a situation where sometimes we don't go in the alleyways because of, we don't have dumpsters running back there, we don't have different things, so people do become unaware of what happens in their alleyways. So, you know, but it is a friendly reminder to say, hey, this is a piece of your property, you must clean it up. I do like the fact that the grass and the curbing, I forget to do that sometimes myself. So, but I think it's something we need to do for drainage, for beautification of our community. I'm all for it.
I agree. I think that's one of the biggest problems we have in Lovington is that we have homes or yards that have a lot of weeds, trash, and things like that. So I agree. I think that it's very severe like that. I think we should have some teeth into the law where we can cite on the spot and get these folks to compliance. I agree with James. I'm not into, or I'm not looking at getting fines out of people. I'm looking at compliance, and I think that's what we're all here for. So I agree with that. Mr. Butcher, anything else?
It's just all about trying to beautify the city. That's
Absolutely.
what it's about. Clean it up.
Absolutely. All right, very good. Okay. Thank you, James. Okay, now we'll go into the action items. I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to consider approval of ordinance 543, 2016, uniform traffic ordinance amendments.
I'll second that.
We have a second. James or Chief?
Actually, Mayor, Commissioners, this was discussed in front of the Commission at a previous meeting and has been advertised. The major changes deal with off-highway vehicle use. We adopt this by reference. It's part of state statute.
Okay. Any discussion?
So that mean my golf cart and my motorcycle go all off?
Any other discussion? No. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I'll entertain another motion.
Consider motion to consider approval of resolution 2016-43, amendment to the water well engineering agreement to include water meter installation and construction of management services.
I'll second that.
We have a second. James.
Mayor, Commissioners, we entered into an agreement with Pettigrew Associates back in 2013 for the drilling and treating of water wells. At the same time, we were doing the radio water meter replacement project. Due to the cost of the project, New Mexico Environment Department is requiring us to obtain the services of an engineer to provide design drawings and oversee the construction process of installation of water meters. That's actually in the state procurement code. So the easiest way to do this, and the Environment Department did sign off on this, is to just amend the original contract to include this work.
Very good. Any other discussion, Commissioners? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, I'll entertain another motion.
I'll make a motion that we consider resolution 216-44, Norley Hospital Wellness Center agreement.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second.
Mayor and Commissioners, we were anticipating receiving the agreement tonight. It's our recommendation to table this until the June 23rd meeting.
Okay. So we'll table this at this time until then.
June 27th, yes.
Okay. All right. Patrick, we proceed with just the motion to table, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we need to open up the motion again, is that correct? Or do we just proceed from here?
You just move to, or you move to table.
I move to table this to the June 23rd.
All right, very good. You have a second?
I can second.
27th.
27th?
Second it.
27th.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion is tabled. Very good. All right, I'll entertain another motion.
Mr. Mayor, consider approval of resolution 2016-45, financial, fiscally,
Oh, you're right. You're right.
fiscally assistance for the acquisition of real property for the development of the new Lee County Judicial Complex agreement between the city of Lovington and Lee County.
Do we have a second?
I second.
All right, very good. James?
Mayor and Commissioners, if you recall, we did adopt a resolution. It was actually, I believe, Resolution 2016-1 in January as far as support for the new judicial complex in the downtown area. One of those was the transfer of $400,000 in funding. In the original resolution, it did specify for additional parking. I know that the design of the judicial complex has changed. It's still in the downtown area. The county has completed the acquisition of that additional block just to the east of it. And the concept is they'll put the building there and the original LCDC detention center site will be used for parking. But the way the MOU is written, it does incorporate the language to use for additional parking or construction of the new facility. I know that legal wanted to discuss a couple of things with the MOU with you prior to voting.
I think under the circumstances, we need to put this on the next meeting, take a look at maybe an amendment to that, deal with the language that's in the resolution versus the language that's in the MOU. Certainly don't want to get into the habit of, a resolution for spending $400,000 for acquiring land for parking, and then, now we're going to spend it for construction or parking, whatever else. So I think that's the most appropriate way to proceed.
So we need to table it at this time, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
make a motion to table this until the June 27th meeting.
Very good. We have a second.
Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion is tabled. Very good. All right, I'll entertain the next motion.
I'd like to make a motion to consider approval of Resolution 2016-46, memorandum of understanding between Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Homeland Security Investigations, and the city for the reimbursement of joint operations expenses from the Treasury forfeiture fund.
You said a mouthful.
I know it.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second, James.
Can we repeat?
Yeah. What was that?
I'm not gonna read it again.
Mayor, Commissioners, Chief Rodriguez received this document. This essentially allows us to obtain reimbursement from Homeland Security, Immigration, Customs Enforcement for any joint activities that we undertake. I know that Patrick has identified just a couple of language changes in the beginning to cover us. For example, at the beginning of the title, get rid of local county, change it to the city of Lovington. And then there's a couple of things that were omitted, like city of Lovington and some typos, but nothing that changes the body of the agreement. So he would be good with approval if we just make those few changes.
What type of cooperation are we talking about here, Chief?
Texas has started, we're having, I guess everybody in the area is having an issue with immigration coming from Las Cruces all the way down here for Indian systems because of the travel time. Midland has opened up a new office. It's still the same individual. So they're just transferring, they're trying to cooperate with everybody in the area. It's closer for Midland to respond to Las Cruces. Our current MOU that we have is with Las Cruces and not Midland. So all this is just it's a redundancy of what we already have with them, but it's just to pay the overtime funds mainly for the task force in this particular case, but it also expands to other investigations with them.
All right. So we're able to get financial assistance or reimbursement from Homeland Security by doing this?
No, whatever overtime is done for the case that you're working, we just submit for reimbursement and then reimburse us back.
Right.
That's all.
All right, very good. All right. Any other discussion? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, I'll consider the next motion.
I'd like to consider approval of Resolution 2016-47, approval of the TDS contract for high-speed internet at the Lovington Youth Center.
Second.
We have a second, James.
Mayor Commissioners, in order to handle our expansion of the capabilities in our computer lab, as well as the gaming system at the youth center, we do need to increase our internet connection. We do have a LECO wireless connection, however, it doesn't have the speeds that are needed to support all of that technology infrastructure. So we've worked with TDS, who does have fiber in the area, to increase our upload and download speed. It will cost $39.99 a month, and we did put this in our budget for this, and it is a 3-year agreement. So that's why we're bringing this to commission, just to get your approval for me to execute the agreement.
And we're not having to dip below 40% revenues, are we?
No, sir.
Okay, I'm just kidding. Okay, very good. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I'll entertain the next motion.
I consider the approval of Resolution 2016-48, inland housing agreement between the city and the county.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Very good. James?
Mayor Commissioners, this is our annual agreement with Lee County for our law enforcement to house prisoners that are in our custody.
All right, very good. Any issues there? Anything, any concerns?
No,
All right, very good. Any other discussion, commissioners? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I'll consider a motion.
I'd like to make a motion, consider approval of Resolution 2016-49, banking services contract.
Second.
We have a second. James?
Mayor Commissioners, I'm going to turn this over to Gary.
Very good. Gary?
Your Mayor and Commissioner, I'd like to ask, we're in a situation where we need some new information from the bank, and therefore I'm asking you to table this until our next meeting in June 27th meeting.
Okay. All right, very good. Any discussion regarding that? Okay.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion.
Yes.
To table this until June 27th, please, sir.
Do we have a second? Aye. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. All right, motion's tabled. Very good. I'll entertain another motion.
Make a motion to award the bid for grazing lease.
I'll second it.
We have a second, James.
Mayor Commissioners, we actually went to a bid process for grazing out in our municipal well field with the intention of reducing the risk of fire. This will be on the east side of Highway 18. For reference, we have, this is the Key Energy location, Legendary Services. It's about 750 acres that proceeds down just past the old BOC and back. We did receive 3 bids on this. I'm trying to get, we've been moving so fast for this. We did receive 3 bids for this that were publicly open. We have I'm sorry, 3 bids. One from Dale Dunlap at $4.10 per acre for a total of $3,075 per year. Derek Norris for $3 per acre, $22.50 per year. Then Roy Taylor, $15 per unit, maximum of $4,500 per year. Because it is a bid, we can take one that usually, in this case, it would be high. And discussing this with Wyatt, we're recommending approval to award the bid to Roy Taylor. With this grazing lease, of course, we would want the permission for Patrick and I to work with the bidder to work out the details of the lease agreement. With this, they would have to follow all the rules, policies, and regulations of operating in the municipal water well field. They're also responsible for maintaining and repairing all fences, gates, cattle guards in the area. We'll provide 2 water meter taps with backflow preventers, but they would be responsible for maintaining the tanks in that area.
All right, very good. Any discussion, commissioners? Okay. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to consider award an RFP 042316 cheerleading, tumbling, and dancing classes.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Very good. James.
Mayor and Commissioners, we were approached by an individual, actually the person who submitted this RFP, Ms. LaToya Hooks Jackson. Is that right? Yes. Jackson Hooks, I'm sorry, who wanted to actually teach cheerleading, tumbling, and dance classes down at the Lovington Youth Center. Of course, now to be totally transparent, she does do this as a business, and the only way that we can actually allow somebody to operate in that youth center this fashion is to go through an RFP process. She was the only respondent. It was posted on our website. It was advertised in, I believe, both the Hobbs and Lovington newspapers. She was the only respondent. She actually submitted an RFP for $40 per student per month. If you have a sibling enrolled, you get a $5 discount. But she would essentially be employed as an independent contractor with the city. So parents who would enroll their children, she has programs from as young as age 3 up to age 18. The students would, or parents would actually register the student with the city, pay the fee, and then in turn we would make a monthly payment to her as an independent contractor. It's our recommendation, we do have the room down there to perform this. There's been quite a bit of interest in this program, and we're recommending that we award the RFP to Ms. Jackson.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
We won't have any responsibility in case of an accident or something happen?
Certainly not. I guess it would depend on what the accident was, if somebody slipped and
Broke a
fell in
foot
the
or
parking lot,
something?
or I think anytime you take any kind of activity at all, there's always the increase to the potential for something to happen and a claim to be made. And so the safest thing to do would be to do nothing. That still doesn't eliminate the possibility of being sued, but there's always anytime you take some action, open it up to the public or for some other kind of private group or tumbling or anything else, there's always that possibility.
Well, if the people that were going to get it, maybe this lady, would she have to get it insurance, some kind of insurance?
Actually, yes, she does, and you can see this as part of the one section of the RFP that we did post in the packet. She would be purchasing insurance for this, professional liability insurance for this.
But she won't indemnify the city, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion?
Did you say she won't, or?
She wouldn't. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Any other discussion?
And it is to my understanding that the equipment is going to be provided by
The equipment would be the mats
the mats.
and things. Those would actually be owned by the city. We can use those for multiple different things.
Questions, comments?
I'm crazy about the indemnity, but
Yeah. Any other question, Commissioner? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion for the award of RFP 52616, base of $5, 5 acres of real property on Highway 18 with office, shop, and fencing.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, James.
Mayor and Commissioners, the Key Energy site, the lease with Key did expire, and as we had discussed previously, we were going to be issuing an RFP to find another tenant for that property. We did open that on the last Thursday, Friday, I'm sorry. No, last Thursday. Well, but Key Energy was the only bidder, and they have, as far as the use, they were still going to be using it with the slowdown as warehousing and storage, but they did increase what they were originally paying. They have submitted $1,200 a month, and we're recommending approval.
For 5 years, is that correct?
It's a 5-year contract with a one-time 5-year renewal option.
All right, very good. Any discussion, Commissioners? All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I'll entertain another motion.
Well, I'd like to make a motion, consider Parks and Recreation Board appointment.
We have a second.
Second.
We have a second, James.
Mayor Commissioners, the ETZ representative on our Parks and Recreation Board, the current member is Marla Price. Her term has expired. Commission does need to reappoint or appoint a new representative. We've had several individuals actually contact myself or City Hall to express interest. The 3 individuals who actually meet the requirement of living within the ETZ is Marla Price, Quint Lauren, and Regina Thomas. And we did have Tara Duncan and Lynette Tate also express an interest, but they live outside of our ETZ.
Okay, very good. So does Ms. Price still want to continue being on the board? I guess is my question.
Yes, I do.
Okay, very good. We also have Mr. Lauren present. Is Ms. Thomas here? Oh, okay. Thank you. Any discussion?
I'm good with it.
I think we should keep Ms. Price.
I think she's been doing an excellent job serving, so
Okay.
see any problems with it.
So how do we address that motion, Patrick?
Well, I guess somebody could move for the person that they think is best suited to take that position. If it gets seconded, then it would go on for a vote. It would either pass and that person would be appointed. If it fails the second or fails the vote, then the floor would be open for another motion on a different individual.
All right.
I'll make that motion to appoint Ms. Price back to the Park and Recreation Board.
I second it.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries for Ms. Price to remain on the board. Thank you, Ms. Price. Thank you, Clint. And Ms. Thomas also for your interest. Thank you very much. I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase additional state, pursue additional state economic development funding for the Lee Theater.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Commissioner Sanchez with the second. James.
Mayor and Commissioners, the Community Foundation for the Arts, they requested that the city begin the application process for additional state economic development assistance for the Lee Theater project for an additional $100,000. They have this, of course, with the LEADA fund, we would have to make the application. Part of this, if they did approve the application, we would be required to adopt this project by ordinance, which would also adopt a project participation agreement between the city and the state, and also a guarantee document. And what the guarantee document does is that should the project not meet the specific provisions such as longevity of the project and also job creation, that the city would be required to return the awarded amount We would still retain any equipment purchased by that, so that it could be utilized for further economic development purposes, but we would be required to return that funding. They have been roughly, I think, 23 weeks into operating the theater, half a year so far. A lot of lessons learned. I know that their financial plan originally called for 130 per week, which when we did our initial review, they weren't close to that. However, they have been making some substantial improvements down there, and right now, actually as of last week, their modified average weekly attendance was 138 patrons per showing. If you do the actual, and what I'm talking about modified, we throw out the lowest week and the highest week. But whenever you look at this, they've shown a movie to almost 5,000 people. It's just underneath 5,000, with the Angry Birds showing, which actually had a total of 160 people over the weekend, showing it brings their average up without modifying it to 152, which according to their business plan, they would actually, they've made some changes on their expenses to reduce those expenses, but right now you plug those numbers in, on an annual basis, they would actually receive about $2,200 at the end of the year in the income. So previously, if you recall, we were showing going in the hole. But some of the things that they've done over the past 23 weeks is, of course, they do now have a point of sale system, which actually really gets down in the detail attendance, movie attendance, and what's actually being purchased. They've installed that and it's been implemented. They do have a full-time manager that they hired now, Star McKee. She's taking over a lot of the duties that the volunteer board members were having to do. Of course, they're working on advertisement. They've created and maintained Facebook, Instagram pages, using social media and print, such as newspapers, to get the word out. They have partnered with the Lovington schools to show over to 1,100 students over a 2-week period. And this is one of those annual events like they have towards the end of school. They also tried something new. They did a Wednesday night showing, a community youth group night. For the first one, they actually had over 100 kids in attendance. They plan to do that at least quarterly. They're going to be offering some summer shows with reduced child tickets on Wednesdays. They'll continue this through the summer. On June 25th, they're actually, as a fundraiser, going to be hosting their first annual Reels and Wheels car show. They are seeking other grant funding. They applied for a Safeco grant as well to try to get some additional funding into the theater, because there are renovations that need to be done. So as far as what the $100,000 will be utilized for, they're looking at roof repairs, installation of an HVAC system in the lobby, and also upgrade the auditorium seating. So what we're asking for is direction from commission if we want to go ahead and move forward with the application. For the LEADA funding, there is no guarantee that we would even get this. But once we kind of engage that, if it is awarded, the next step would be adopting that ordinance. I know that we've been hesitant as far as doing this, and to be honest, at this time, given the state of the economy, really, do I think the project's going to fail? No, it's shown promise. It's actually starting to work. The only thing is that guaranteed document of $100,000. We're still engaged in the original project participation agreement for another 2 years to keep that open. To be honest, my recommendation would be right now, given our economic circumstances, that we hold off on applying for that funding until we start to see some revenue recovery through an increase in gross receipts tax. That's just me being very, very cautious. But I would stand for any questions the commission may have.
And I appreciate that. James, can you give some specifics on the longevity and the job requirement that is stated in the...
Right. The original project participation agreement said that we had, it lasts for 3 years from the date that we signed that. meaning that we have to keep those jobs. In the original one, I believe it was 4 part-time positions. We have satisfied that requirement. In meeting with, I know Commissioner Yanni and I met with State Economic Development about this back in February. And they advised that you had, it would only be full-time, a full-time position, full-time job creation. Would have to, you couldn't do a combination of part-time and 2 part-time employees to equal one. It'd have to be a full-time position.
So, if, in case we don't meet these requirements, if we were to use the money and purchase equipment, we wouldn't have to do it back. But repairs and so forth, like we're looking at, if we don't meet this requirement, we would have to return the money. Is that correct?
We would have to return the money, but we would still own the equipment.
Okay. I see. Any other discussion by commissioners? So your recommendation at this point is not to approve the application process, is that correct? Yes, you're on the spot.
I know I'm on the spot. I know I'm on the spot. I mean, I know it's there. These are the roof repairs and the HVAC. Those are, well, the roof repairs really is a priority. But honestly, I would suggest maybe coming back, revisiting this in 2 or 3 months, just so we can have a better forecast on our economics. It's just, I know they're doing an excellent job. I mean, we're seeing attendance go up. Do I think it's going to fail? No. However, with our economy, I don't know if that's going to actually impact attendance at the theater, and that's what they really thrive on, is the ability for people to go out and watch a movie.
Okay. Okay, I hate to ask this, but are you asking that we table this, or are you asking that we vote yes or no on it?
Actually, we could always come back to it. I mean, if you table it, we could.
Let's have some discussion about that. Commissioner Gann?
I just think you'll make a motion to table it for 3 months.
Okay.
And I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion to table it for 3 months, and we have a second from Commissioner Sanchez. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion is tabled. Okay, I'll consider a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to consider approval of the council table.
Do we have a second? We have a second. James or Gary?
Well, your mayor and commission, our largest single expenditure was $198,000 to Vortex Aquatic. Almost our final payment. We're still hanging on to 15% retention until everything's been finalized. But so far, everything's going well, and likely we'll be making our final payment next month. Beyond that, there really isn't anything exciting to share in the payable.
Okay, very good. Yes, sir.
Are we going through our,
Yes.
I got one here on City Glass and Mirror, almost $8,000.
Who's this, sir?
City Glass and Mirror.
For the use for the doors.
$7,975.
Yeah, at our youth center, we replaced the front doors, and that was the expenditure for the glass doors.
All the doors?
Yes, 3 exterior doors, Commissioner.
$26,000 to Odessa pumps and equipment. Is that for the splash pad?
The Odessa pumps was primarily related to, gotta go search my page. There was a pump at our wastewater plant. That was the primary expenditure on that.
Was that the pump that went down? Is that what happened?
I don't know the status, I just know that we had to buy a pump.
Okay. All right, very good. Thank you. And Roy's Mobile Home Service for $16,000.
With that, we had, my note is that we unblocked evidence at 2 locations.
It's the modular buildings that we got
Oh.
from Urinco.
Mhm.
It's the transport one to the
Oh.
winery and then one to the impound walking down the Lewis Park.
Wow, it's pretty pricey.
And it's the cheapest one.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Commissioners, any other questions? Comments?
No.
All right. All in favor of approving the accounts payable, say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. All right, now it's time for public comment. It's your time to get up and speak to the commission. We would ask that you limit it to about 3 minutes, and we'll go from there. Anybody interested in coming up and addressing the commission can do so at this time.
I guess I would.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Paula Bankley, and I will not take too much of your time. I love the fitness center. I think the whole idea, I think it's terrific. People who know me know I've been since the 80s looking for a big natatorium
Great.
that people can use. I would recommend that when y'all are discussing prices, you know, like the monthly fees, that you might consider a daily, you know, something just a one day. We got people that are traveling, staying at a hotel, maybe they just want to go in and run laps. So a daily admission fee would be good. And on the property that the county has acquired for the new facility, there were 2 households there that were renting land, owned the manufactured housing. Did they get any assistance in the cost of what it cost them to move their houses off of that property so the city and county could do their thing?
That I don't know. That is strictly a transaction between the county and that owner.
Okay, city doesn't have anything to do with it?
No.
City couldn't offer them anything?
No, we offered, in that resolution, we had lots that the county could actually, we would basically donate to the county to where they could give those the owners of the land a trade. So that they
Okay.
can make-
Well, there were 2 families that had to move. 2 households that had to move, and I was just wondering if they got any assistance. So I'll go to the county. Thank you very much. Appreciate
you.
what you're
Appreciate
doing.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Connie Severe with the Lee Community Foundation for the Arts, and I just wanted to make a statement to the, couple of things to the commission here, that the state LEDA grant won't be available in 3 months. This is a application, get it in, and see if it's going to be approved for this coming funding. Also, the economy, if you're concerned with the downturn of our economy, which we all are, what we're experiencing right now at the theater is that people can't afford to go out on expensive vacations anymore, but they're coming to the movies. And it seems to us as a board and the ones working at the theater is that when the economy's down, people stay home and try to find entertainment at home. And I think that's a big plus for the theater, and I think when the economy goes back up, they're going to be used to coming to our theater. When we're averaging close to 50 to a show, if you think about the screens in Hobbs, they have multiple screens, but each screen seats about 50 when they're packed out. So we're keeping up with, if they were a single screen, you know, any one of those single screens, we're doing good. We've exceeded our expectations from our original plan, as Mr. Williams brought out, and it seems to be growing every month and getting better. We have 7, 8 high school students that have been employed since, I don't know, how long have we had them? Since October, I guess, plus now the full-time manager. And so it's, if any of y'all have been, I know Commissioner Gandy is there quite often. I see him in and out. We have done a lot of improvements, and it's just elbow grease, you know, that has been put into that theater. We have comments from people who come to the show, and they state, you know, how nice it is. It's so much better than going to Hobbs. It doesn't stink. They enjoy the big theater. So I just wanted to tell y'all that we appreciate everything the city has done for us. But we're not sure that this LEDA money will be available in 3 months.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Mayor and city commissioners, I would like to talk about the weeds.
Could you state your name, please? Could you state your name?
Elaine V. Hill.
Go ahead, Ms. Vega.
I would like to address the weed situation. I think we need to, I don't think we should try to find people and that type of thing, but to do this aggressively, I just don't see how we're going to do this with the fact that in code enforcement, we're not getting a lot of code enforcement done already. I am real concerned about this because I don't know how we're going to get the word out. The only thing that I have asked, and James knows that I've asked this several times, our mayor, that our city manager, is that maybe we get out, the city get out and clean Avenue D and Main Street to show the community what it means to clean the gutters and the streets. On Main Street and Avenue D, we have quite a few vacant lots, businesses and what have you that have grass growing in the curb. And I think we need to do something to show the community what we're talking about. We have sent out letters in the water bills and that type of thing, and oh, I didn't even see that. I don't read that. I open up, my bill is automatically paid, or just all kinds of excuses. I think we need to take a little bit, let the city show us what we need to do. Because I'm going to give you an example. Over on Polk Street a couple of weeks ago, they took a mower over there and they mowed on Polk Street by TDS. The lawn mowing was terrible. They left weeds in the gutter, and that was an example of how our city is taking care of mowing curbs. And I find that not acceptable. Our streets and maintenance should have a clear-cut mind of what they need to be doing. Because if we don't set the example, the city of Lovington, we can't expect our citizens to know what to do. And I just feel that this is something that we need to address and get, serious about it with our community.
All right. Very good. Thank you, Ms. McGill. Anybody else? Yes.
May I approach, please?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. It's late. I haven't eaten dinner, and I
State
know
your
you
name,
guys
please. I'm sorry.
ready to go. Debbie Feltman,
Yes, Ms. Feltman.
please. I've lived here in Lovington now 19 years, and I enjoy the people and the community. I've stepped forward and don't come very often, but I'm nervous. I'm sorry. The weeds are an issue to me, and I just want to give you my take. Pardon me, Doctor. I was going to say Dr. Gandy. Mr. Gandy. For forgetting your weeds behind your house. Anyway, what I just wanted to say is a few things. There are much more knowledgeable people in this room than I. A few years ago, I did take a Lee County Master Gardener's course, and I am one, and I have been involved in gardening for as long as I've been alive. One of the important courses we took, I've got 2 more minutes, was the noxious weeds. Something that's really, really scary to me in our community. We can debate the height all the time. If it were up to me, everybody would hate me. We would do City of Albuquerque's code, which is 4 inches. And the reason I say that is because we're infested with noxious weeds. I have a huge list. What do noxious weeds do? First of all, anything over 4 to 5 inches, you're already seeding per plant, which is why the city of Lovington, pardon me, little microphone, and Lee counties, and really why southeastern New Mexico is. And the biggest concerns me just as a citizen every day is Flonase every day. I have steroid shots every year. And all of that my doctors have worked with me is due to what I'm inhaling. Obviously, I was born and raised in Illinois. We had noxious weeds there too. However, in Illinois, there's very strong codes like Minnesota and different states that not only are the noxious weeds, it's a priority that they are eradicated. And by eradication, which, let's face it here, we may not be able to eradicate it. We are so many years behind the 8 ball. I don't know that would ever happen. I hate to be pessimistic, but I do think we can get into the control phase somewhere, somehow, maybe with a plan over the next few years. I do believe the city of Lovington needs some skin in this game. And until that happens, I do agree with what Miss Elaine said, that unless we really show and set by example, it's going to be very difficult. So some of the things that I'm looking at as a citizen, and I will promise I'll shut up, is our wildlife protection from noxious weeds, our elderly, myself, people like myself, where I believe allergies are epidemic. Every time I turn around, what's the matter? My allergies, my allergies, my allergies, it's all over here. And I believe that our waterways, and again, what I was finally going to say is in different cities and states, what they've done is they've actually set standards and said no matter what, we're eradicating certain noxious weeds, not at the surface level, but below the surface level. So this puts us really, puts our staff, like James and them, at a hard place. And, having said all that, it looks really rough. So thank you very much, and that was what I wanted to say, and I appreciate everyone.
Thank you.
Ms. Feldman, thank you for what you've done on South Main Street. That is beautiful what you guys
Thank
done
you.
there.
A lot of weed eradication.
Very good. Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Tabitha Lawson with Lovington Main Street, and I just wanted to end on a positive note. Thank you all for everything that you do. I know that the city works really hard, and I just want to say that in downtown we are seeing a lot of improvements. We've actually had several new businesses moving in, and some of our vacant buildings people are moving into them, or they're being cleaned up and being ready to be leased or sold. So I think that people are starting to take a little bit more pride, and big things do not happen overnight, and if everybody does something little, then it adds up quickly. So thank you for that. This weekend, as James said earlier, is our 7th annual Smokin' on the Plaza Championship Barbecue event. As of today, we have 54, you heard me right, 54 teams pre-registered. So it's about twice as big as it's ever been before. So we're really excited about that. If anybody wants to judge, talk to David Rodriguez because we need lots of them. I do have a few little flyers with the schedule of events on the back. We're having 3 concerts during Smokin' on the Plaza this year, which is also something new that we haven't done before. We're having one on Friday night from 8 to 10, one on Saturday from 1 to 3, and then on Saturday night, or evening, sorry, at 5:30, Stony LaRue will be playing downtown, which is a really big deal for us. We're also having a kids queue competition on Friday afternoon. So if anybody needs more information, we have 2 Facebook pages, an Instagram account, a website, or you can call or come by the office, because I'll probably be running around town like a chicken with my head cut off. We also have one more concert in July where we're bringing Mickey and the Motor Cars, which is another really big country band. And then lastly, weekend after this one, on the 25th, we're having our first annual Reels and Wheels car show to benefit the theater, and that's going to be a lot of fun. We have events happening all day, and it's only a $15 entry fee. So I encourage everyone to come out and have some fun and see what's happening downtown.
Well,
Thank you.
Tabitha. Thank you for your work. We appreciate you. Yes, sir.
My name is Clint Lauren, and I just had a question, just wanted for myself to clarify something. So the youth center is no longer renting out rooms, but now you're allowing a woman to run a business out of the youth center and not insure the city, and cover the city with her insurance? Is that what just happened?
We are, we will be named as an additional insured on our insurance policy.
All right.
But no, it's, I know we've had several complaints, that, the youth center lack use.
Mhm.
And frankly, on Saturdays and weekends when kids are home, if we would rent that thing out, it was rented out for the entire day. Kids can utilize it. So in discussions with the youth center board, the decision was made that we're not going to rent that out. We're going to reserve Saturdays for youth activity. This was just one of those activities where we couldn't get somebody to come in and volunteer their time. We put it out through a competitive, super competitive process to get people to have some interest in essentially, yes, I guess you could say this person is going to be performing business there, but it's an activity for folks to actually participate in. They want to pay for that.
So is that different than, say, the softball league charging admission to city property? To me, it seems like the same thing. So if they're not allowed to charge admission on city property, how is that? How can they not charge? They have to accept donations. And now she can charge $40 a kid. Is that just some difference?
So they're receiving some instruction or I think not be a good person for charge over somebody's only going to watch. And I think that issue at the softball complex is charging everybody to get on watch. And so I think something's going to go be a little bit different. I think it's city observing things that are happening versus receiving specific instruction about how to do something.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor and City Commissioners, Elaine V. Hill. I did want you to let you know that with Keep Lovington Beautiful, we are moving along. We have been able to go out to the median out by the hospital, and we have now been able to, we've gotten plants, and we will be out there working on that area within the next week or so. But I just want you to know there is a progress out there. We went out there and we got mulch and we put around the tree. And then we went to Harris Nursery out by Tatum and purchased plants. And I think it's going to be very nice, and we're just very pleased that we've gotten this project done. The next project that we have, and I don't know if Bernard has received a letter yet or not, but we've asked Bernard Butcher, since he's sort of helping us with Keep Lovington Beautiful by coming to our meetings and things, that he get out into his district and see if we can educate our different areas in his district. And we think that will be a very good thing for each one of our commissioners to do, but we're going to start with Bernard and see what we can do with that.
You probably need to go down about 4 ounces of my house and drink me.
But I just wanted to let you know that we are progressing very nicely with some of our projects, and we hope to educate our community.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else? I see nobody else stepping up.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I make a motion to go into closed session and pursuant to section 10-15-1 NMSA 1978 subsection 7H regarding threatening or pending litigation, Central Plaza Project.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Butcher. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Carolyn.
Commissioner Gandy?
Aye.
Mrs. Butcher?
Yes. Yeah, go.
Commissioner Snyder? Mayor Moore?
Yes. We will go into closed session.
thinking about boxing when you was doing that? Oh, yeah, oh. You gonna be in
I'm
Zoom?
learned it already come from that boxer.
Oh, I'm not either. Zoom.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to return to regular session. And the matters discussed in closed session were limited to only those specified in the motion for closure, and no action was taken.
And I'll second it.
We have a second. Caroline?
Commissioner Gandy,
Aye.
Commissioner Sanchez, Commissioner Butcher,
Aye.
Mayor Copeland.
Yes. All right. Without any further discussion, meeting is adjourned.
James, be safe on the road.